on the set. So aloha, guys, and welcome to Center Mechanics. Well, it's an introduction to the center mechanics. We're going to be going through each of these centers in detail, okay? But I really like to lay this out in like this overview way for you guys. And I I was thinking I was thinking beyond the lecture today and really looking at my own work, um, how I work with people, and what really being a guide means. Now, look, I know a lot of you want to get into all of this fascinating information, and there is an incredible amount of stuff here. It is. But if I can just wire you guys on these four auras and these nine centers and the seven ways to make decisions, guys, that's your education the whole year. Four auras, how they work, nine centers, each of them has several views. We're about to look at that. And seven different ways to make decisions. You can own the human design system. You can own it. I mean, it is so much easier for me to say something to someone like, now I'm going to use a root to spleen example without using any circuitry. It's what I refer to as center keynoting. If I say, look, your design is such that you're under a constant and consistent pressure, ding, ding, root, to be intuitive about your life. Guys, that is way more helpful in the beginning than going, well, you're on the channel of struggle, and that means that you're here to be empowered by overcoming the obstacles and blah, blah, blah. And they're just spinning off into space. Okay. Now, I may very well come back and say that, I may go into the channel, and I go a little bit into the channel. A lot of times I don't even tell them what the hell I'm talking about. I just say that's what this is. And I go, but really the most important thing for you to understand is you're under a constant and consistent pressure to be intuitive about what's healthy for you in your life in that moment. Okay? Guys, I've worked with all of you. You know that that's as simple as I make it. I'm telling you, less is more. Okay? Of course, there's people that are here to know this code and, go into all that stuff. But I mean, to be a guide is someone that, can just, here's the three things you need to know. Now go experiment. Okay. And more importantly, of course, I'm talking to you as if your destiny is to work with other people. That is part of the training that I offer here, but really this is about you. And of course, the things that you want to hammer people relentlessly about is the openness, because that's what everybody thinks they are. That's what everybody thinks they want to do. And repetition, repetition, repetition. You'll see that I'm going to repeat myself at least 5 times in this lecture. And hopefully by the end of the year, you'll be finishing my sentences just like I do Ross. I know where he's going before he gets there, when I listen to his stuff. So in this section, we're really looking at what are these 9 centers and understanding that each center has 4 views, okay? The defined view, there's a healthy state, a healthy way in which it's operating, and there's an unhealthy state. On the undefined side, there's a healthy way it's working, a possibility of potential, and there's an unhealthy way. So in a sense, guys, there's already 36 views right here. I mean, just knowing these centers inside and out truly can change your life. And I'll work with you guys on a little center keynoting at the end just to give you an idea of what I mean. Now understand, we've got these qualitative differences. We've got the head center and the root, which are pressure centers, okay? We have awareness centers, which are, the spleen, the ajna, and the solar plexus. And don't get confused here, guys, because some centers have more than one function, okay? The voices are obviously the throat, communication, expression, and the sacral, this movement of energy that is often unconsciously accompanied by a sound. these the primal sounds that just come out. And then we have four motors, guys. A root, constant and consistent pressure to what drives something. The sacral, the pressure to respond, or the motor to respond. It sits in a vibration of response. The solar plexus, which is an emotional wave pumping out. And then will, the heart. What is willpower? I think other than Devin, no one has it here. I'm pretty sure. No, I'm wrong. But almost nobody has willpower. You'll find that that's true in human design. In general, the people coming don't have willpower. They know there's something wrong with them, or they're open emotional, or both. Those are the ones, those are the, and then the open G, then we get into, yes, the Bermuda Triangle. Yay, Bermuda Triangle. Okay, so, and guys, this is for you. I'm definitely not saying that you guys should try to get too far down this. I love new people trying to read the Rei Ching. It's like a parakeet trying to eat a bear. It's like, dude, no, don't read those fucking lines, okay? Please, for now. And I'm joking. Please do whatever's correct for you. But, a completely open center is very different than an undefined center with hanging gates. An open center that's completely open, the energy, it's like a pool or a glass of water that gets filled to the top and it can just go any direction, okay? Versus, like a stream, a lake that has a stream in it. When the lake gets so full, it usually goes out this certain stream. That's what this second or middle picture is, this undefined center with these hanging gates, and so generally it'll go out these directions. Not always, but generally it'll have these themes to it, okay? And then defined centers, obviously, there's a channel that connects, and hopefully everybody understands this, but it's not like the centers get turned on. It's the, in this case, like the 64 and the 47, which are the actual gates that are giving this definition. Those two things get connected, and then those centers are fixed and on. I think everybody understands that in the imprinting mechanism, but that's how it works. And then that hanging gate, which in this case is 11, that's opinions, right? Or ideas?
Ideas.
Ideas. I always get those two.
Besides opinions.
Yeah. You have the opinions.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I don't know why those two are always so tough for me. It's just it's like weird, because they almost seem like they should be the other way. Anyway, so there's that. So out of a defined center, when the gate is hanging, it's on, guys. It's fucking on. And so you start to see that as part of your fixed life force, okay? And hopefully you get that. So these are the charts we should really be handing out. This is what they really look like in the beginning, guys. No fault, no blame. Everything's trying to work, but at whatever level we're conditioned or taking in whatever, it's just off frequency. And it's why I spend so much time talking to you about what your frequency is and what is really solid in you and how that works. Because, over time, these things do start to clear up and you can really get to know them. But, when we give these people these nice, pretty clean charts in the beginning, it's sort of a lie. And, at some point, I'd really like to see the software going back to the 2 mandalas where you really get to see, here's the design and here's the passenger. I mean, these are things we'll look at more in 2 sections down the road here. But I just think that view helps people so much understand the vehicle versus the passenger. Or who you think the passenger is more accurate. So remember, guys, at first, what is everybody coming to human design for? Now, look, I love this because I get to do it often. I have people call me and they tell me how much fucking work they've done and the 20 years of whatever ashrams or psycho whatever and whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, then why are you fucking calling me? Because I'm not calling anyone. It's in these open centers, guys. It's the thing that they've been working on all that time to try to help, try and fix something that is not fixable. Like the open ego always trying to improve itself, or the open emotional person that's in emotional counseling or anything. And I'm not saying that any of these things that are helping, that I do practices, and we were talking a bit before class about shamanic stuff that I'm involved with. But I mean, I do practices, so I'm not saying that anything is wrong for you, but that you start to make decisions based on who you are and what you are, rather spending a life trying to actually fix something that's not you, because whatever's open is who you think you are. I mean, in the beginning, that is your not self mind. It's all your mind is interested in. Guys, your mind could give a shit less about the colors in your chart. The only time those things are working is when your mind is out of the fucking way. I mean, truly out of the way. And open centers take in, they amplify. Someone thinks that amplification is them, and they're in huge trouble. And the really the important part here, guys, is that it's what you hear talking in your head when those monologues and dialogues, okay? And then someone shows up in your aura and they're getting an amplification back of those open centers, so they think you're that. And your genes only want to be something different. And so, dude, I mean, you have no idea how many dragons must be faced on this path. And that's why I say don't fuck with it. Don't try to fix it. Anything that your body gets you to in terms of any other holistic healing practices, anything that helps you, journaling, annihilation by journal, whatever. I support it, but see that you cannot work on what's you. You can't work on what's you. You can spend a lifetime trying to uncover and manage and come to terms with what's not you. I think it's very important that it's not only in your own process, okay, but I mean, clearly, my open centers got me to human design. I mean, clearly I was all fucked up. I mean, and this is where you can have the most and the most impact on someone's life the fastest. You show them what they're not. Now, I know people that will disagree with that, but you know, Ra will pound that into you that no, you create as much pain as quickly as possible. So then they're ready to listen to what the fucking solution is. Okay. That's what you do. You show them. Boom. This is what, that's why. Maybe I'm only doing the first 5 slides. So what can happen with open centers, dude? You amplify. You distort. You overreact. I mean, how many open emotional people have made emotional decisions? Fuck that, I'm gonna fucking I'm gonna prove they're wrong. I mean, guys, I mean, if everybody's not cringing a little bit right now, you should be. Because we know that we all do it, right? And then a total misunderstanding of what that is or why that's happening. So, through openness, we can experience the other. Okay, this is the difference between nature and nurture. The potential of openness is a deep wisdom. I mean, if Devin's not going to be our expert on pressure this year, I don't know who is. Serena was going to be our expert on pressure until she discovered there were other forces at work that wouldn't even let them see. She couldn't even see yet, and I hope that no one's upset. But guys, out of this openness, that this potential for great wisdom. I mean, dude, I have an open ego. I struggle with it. Am I trying to prove you can mind fuck yourself all day long, even where I'm at. What I know is that there's a feeling of this physical like balloon fish feeling when when I feel the need to prove myself. And generally that only happens like when I'm around other guys that are like surfers or mountain bikers, and that's why I love mountain biking because I don't see anyone. And as soon as I see other guys, I can feel the open ego. And Wade and I are joke about this a lot. It's like, dude, it's destroyed our ability to surf. I can't engage that thing that used to get me to do things. Um, but out of that openness, you get this incredible wisdom. It's where you're here to learn. And it's where you're here to have the right people in your life that turn on those things that may be dormant in your design. But really understand that, yes, at first we beat the shit out of you on what you're not because it's what you think you want to be. It's the only thing your mind cares about, da 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 da, right down the line. You'll have all the keynotes by heart, your own, by the end of the year. But there is an incredible wisdom in the openness for me having that totally open throat. Man, I hear who's talking bullshit like that. I mean, it's incredible that I can hear, and I know this is a lot of other places in my design, but I just hear bullshit so fast. And then when someone's saying something that's worth listening to, I'm like totally like, whew. Like I said, that book. I mean, it's been almost a decade since I found a book on this subject that I didn't just throw down immediately. And then what happens with defined centers? Misuse, pressure, right? Depletion, disease, and confusion. I mean, watch a defined ego decide it wants something and watch how hard it can push, you know? Watch people, use that emotional blackmail on you. I mean, watch what is actually could be something really beautiful about someone, and you guys are guides, or in yourself, or watch them push. Watch. Because it happens. And the problem with this is it does seem like it's working, and it doesn't talk in their head the same way, What got them to engage it was their not self mind. Absolutely. Right? But with the Divine Center, you can go a lot further down the path. Yeah, that's the next slide, isn't it? Yeah, see? Hey, who needs to prepare? So definition used incorrectly damages the body. With my defined G, like let's just use that for example, or my defined root or whatever, to try to put my trip onto somebody else. I mean, just think, I'm a projector, I could manipulate that situation. I understand I could put all sorts of pressure on people if I wanted to, but it would be my trip. But see, I know that I have my own trip. I like my trip. I'm here to empower you to have your trip. But definition used incorrectly damages the body faster or worse than the open centers because you can maintain it. It was kind of that discussion we had a few days ago about, if you have a defined will and you decide that's what you want and you go after it, you'll be dead before you realize it wasn't good for you. With definition behind a mental decision, just think of it like the real path is to the left, but you're just you're just going down the path to the right. It's like, no, you didn't even see that the real path was to the left because you're too busy getting what you think you want with whatever's in your design. In definition, healthy definition is deeply unique to the individual that actually carries it. It's your trip. It's how it works for you. And what you're here to put out into the world and what's there for other people or there to empower you or whatever that frequency happens to be. It's who you are and it's what you're here to put into the world. And that's the totality of what form consciousness is. Now, I just saw my video do a little blur. Did you see that? I may not be able to wear black shirts anymore. I'm getting
go out in the sun.
I either have to not go in the sun or quit wearing black. the camcorder doesn't, or it doesn't, not sure who to focus on. Okay, so we start with the pressure centers, right? We have mental pressure coming down on the head. Constant, consistent. If it's defined, it's always there. If it's undefined, it's inconsistent. And then we have physical pressure coming up from the body, guys. Two pressure centers pushing on this vehicle. Defined or undefined, doesn't matter. You guys, that's the other thing to remember. You have all of this. It's just whether or not it's you or not. Don't think that anybody, oh, I don't have that. Bullshit. If you don't have it, you got twice as much. We have three awareness centers, right? And it's so great. We have survival in the moment, the spleen, you know, the mind, the ajna, anxiety over all time. It was because what my parents did, or what am I going to do when I retire? I mean, dude, it's got the whole span of the universe to be afraid of. And then nervousness, the emotional center. But these are awareness centers. Now, we know that the mind is never an authority. It's not. And I know those of you that are, wait, but I'm a mental projector. Right. But what you think in there is not your authority. It's a frequency. But that in this sense that, the mind, as we know it, as it will be, most commonly taught, is never the authority. The frequency of what's true for that being coming through that definition, that can be true. So don't get confused there. That might have confused more people. But guys, get it. Three awareness centers, two pressure centers, and four motors. Guys, they're fucking motors. After 14 years, I'm still looking at this going, holy fuck, there are motors. They're on, they're working, there's different ways they're working. Like maybe, off to one side is the ones that only engage when they want to, but the other, I mean, they're just kicking up shit. And really get this, they are pushing energy out in one way or another. Now, if you're incorrect in that movement, again, go back to the defined center destroys the body. How a defined center can destroy the body. Okay. So is everybody with me? We good on the outline? Everyone okay? Okay. All passengers, your hands and feet are not safely inside the vehicle.
Does it go deeper into the tunnel?
Yeah. Everyone's hands and feet are inside the vehicle. Okay. Guys, if you can get if you can just get this 9-centered matrix, you can own human design. Okay? So head center, mental pressure. You've got it 3 flavors: confusion, mystery, and doubt. Now, is this guy thinking or taking a shit? I mean, it's like this is the great I think therefore I am picture. I think therefore I'm fucked would be more accurate. But 71% of you have it open, right? So what are you filled with? Confusion that's not yours. Trying to, the mysteries of the universe. What does it mean? These endless fucking questions. Or what's going to happen next? So you're under mental pressure, to use, to question things that have nothing to do with your life. Nothing. The only good question is, who put this fucking question in my head? What's no, these are not my questions is the appropriate term, whatever. Whose question or whatever. They're not yours. Unless, again, who put this fucking question in my head? Look, I have this. I got pressure all the time. The ajna, right? What is the ajna, dude? This is like the pressure is I like to say that's like the hard drive. The ajna is like the processing unit. It's the one that actually takes the pressure of the information and tries to put it together. Remember, it's all moving down towards the throat. And half the planet basically open. So it's the processing center. So what do you end up if you don't have a fixed processing unit? You end up trying to fix the processing unit. I believe this. And I love the open eyes of the people. They're so sure about what they believe.
Or no.
Yeah, for now. And again, guys, and I'll make fun of it till the end of time. Watch the open ego, and now I feel bad because my brother's dead, and I love you, man. But it was so funny to watch your open ego and open ajna work together. I mean, I do love you, and it was fun for me because he would sure he was right, and he was going to prove it. You know, it was a very funny combination, and that mind ego connection exists in all of you. Open, defined, undefined. It doesn't matter. Both defined, both undefined, either or. Dude, ego and mind have a very special relationship. So the very first thing is really question what you think. Okay? And again, we're here in form consciousness, so we're not relying too much on the mind and so forth. But it ends up making you really want to be certain that you know what you're talking about. And think of this. Think of kids in school. Half of them have no way to fix anything logical. So go learn your multiplication tables. Okay, recite that poem. Do you know the anxiety that that puts on a child? I always wondered. I was like, why is it that I can get high, skip almost every class, come to school a couple times a month, and still sit down and fucking rip these tests? You know, I mean, it was almost like I it wasn't like I got A's, but I always like, I mean, I got A B's, and I didn't try at all. Now I understand. I have a right mind. I have a defined ajna. I mean, I would just sit down the night before, and I just kind of, I would skim over whatever the test was going to be tomorrow, and it would be a no. And I always looked at people, and I was like, why is it so hard for them? Yeah, I'm a projector. Yeah, I absorb stuff. Yeah, I have a defined mind. And now you step back and go, well, I mean, don't worry. I was fucked up 1,000 different ways, but I really see that. What are we doing to kids? It always goes back to what are we doing to the children? So look, whatever mental opinion you may be arguing for, it's not yours. So the throat center, and guys, this is an important thing. It's obviously communication and manifestation. When we say manifestation in human design, we basically are talking about a motor, whether a manifesting generator or a manifester. We're simply talking about a motor getting to the throat and that motor being able to speak on behalf of the person carrying it. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, that sounds good. That instantaneous, the kind of that real quick 3420, I'm thinking, the pure manifesting generator, that response, yes, I'll do it. It's like, boom, the energy is there before mind, or the will engaging in, whatever. But all of the energy in the body graph is trying to get to the throat, guys. All of it is trying to get there. Now look at this. This is a very important distinction. I want you to see it closely. The head and ajna are trying to get to the throat for expression. Everything else is coming up. What's the really important thing to see there? The mind has no access to motors. None. It never did and never will. Okay? Your mind is not designed to turn the motor, get the motors spinning. And what is everyone doing? Writing down their goals. This is what I dream I want. And they go out and try to get them. Okay? Fuck me. Now, fuck me twice, because that's exactly how I was successful for the first 30 years of my life. And Joan?
Yeah. I help people set goals. I'm really good at it. And also, I'm just thinking, for me, ideas. I mean, I don't have the ideas, but whatever.
Right.
Like, oh, good idea. I should do something. That's the other way it can work.
Right.
Yeah, the ideas become, they try to manifest when there's nobody asked me.
Nobody asked.
Yeah.
And
I had a lot of dead ends.
Yeah. Okay, guys, everyone really clear on that. The mind does not get to any motor. The only thing that mind could be good for is potentially, hopefully, like now, inspiring you to take a deeper look at yourself or to help you start to get some good tools to be able to share this information with other people. My mind could be good for you. Your mind could be good for me. But your mind is not good for you. My mind is a torture chamber for me. And it's probably true for most of you. You know, this is where the energy, the expression, or the manifestation becomes real and can become real in the world. And then the G center. No awareness at all, guys. The home of the magnetic monopole. It's the where we're flying through space, whether defined or undefined. It's where the illusion of your separateness from the rest of the life, you're held together. You're moving through space at 160,000 miles an hour right now, guys. We're all flying at 160,000 miles an hour. But this is like love. This is when people say they're following a heart-centered path. You guys out there in the woo-woo new age, Joan doesn't even know what I'm talking about. She's like, huh? She's like, they didn't have that in the business world. No, that you'll feel I'm following my heart. This is generally what they're talking about. This could be considered like the spiritual heart if we were to wane new age for a second. And what's funny is when the people that are trying to follow their heart are usually open G's. And what they mean is that they're trying to figure out their love, their identity, their direction. And here's the deal. There's no fixed if you're open. And so the very things that like I'm here to, there is no room that I will ever walk into where I am not fucking John. John, the heretic, with all of his judgment, criticism, and demands right there in your face, whether I'm speaking or not. An open G person can move like a chameleon in and out of environments. So guys, see the gifts. I mean, at first, yes, we pound people on the openness, and we'll spend time pounding each one of these over the next few weeks. But just to open the door, guys, that it's either fixed. Now, look, if I'm trying to put my trip, you should behave like this. You should do it my way. I'm just realizing it was an open G that told me that I should be doing it their way. That's fucked up. I just saw that. Wow.
Like they have a way.
Yeah, like there is a way. This is one of the foremost experts on human design. Holy shit. Yeah. Anyway, or reportedly by them, one of the foremost, as reported by them. Dude, it's funny that just flashed through. It's like they're telling me how to behave. Jesus. That would be like me trying to tell you how to behave, and you'll see that's a thing where you have definition. You don't usually need to defend it. I mean, I get to defend it and sometimes, but I mean, like I kept trying to explain to this guy that was a mental projector that, he just kept trying to he kept trying to tell me, he kept trying to educate me, and he was coming to me for help, and I'm like, dude, the great thing about having definition is you don't have to defend it. It's just you. It was almost like it was an open ajna instead of a defined ajna. I'm sorry, I just flipped on that, but I'm saying that where you have definition, you don't need to defend it. You're solid there. You can't change it. Somebody asking me to change my behavior. It's a common sentiment, one that I can actually agree upon. I should settle down. But it's not happening.
May I share something?
Yeah,
I have a completely open G.
Sure.
And I am aware that I can move between groups. Mm-hmm. I used to be able to.
Right.
But I had a really good example of the chameleon when I had a couple of family people here, and I was with them, and suddenly I was a tourist. It was a weird thing. It was like my identity, though that's not true.
Yeah.
I felt now I look like a tourist.
You became one of them.
I became one of them.
Yeah.
Huh. I went on that trip for a little bit.
And it really is like getting on a roller coaster and then getting off. Mm-hmm. It is, right? Yeah. That's what it looks like to me.
And the only problem is trying to hang on to the ride.
Right. my ride.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good example.
Mhm.
Okay. So did I miss anything in my every time? Oh, good. Did I miss anything? And then we go to this slide. In case you guys wonder what I do all afternoon after this, this would be the slide. Oh man, what did I forget? What did I fuck up? I had to email Devin, our Devin, define G
Mhm.
Devin here in the class, and remind him that me, Wade, and you were open egos. Because Wade had come, yeah, dude,
We
just
need to be a little
yeah,
bit of
just tell us we
reassurance.
did okay, just
Yeah.
yeah, because no one told Wade he had done a great
Mhm.
job in the forum, and he sends me an email a week later going, "Was it okay?" I was like, "No one told you." Everybody, I mean, all the feedback I heard was super positive, but guys, this is one of the G, the ego, the dude, I don't know which, this seems like the deepest conditioning agent on our planet because, I mean, think of everything that's broadcast out there. I'm not saying that you personally may not struggle with a different sequence of events, but, you know, look at every magazine. I mean, dude, I think it's, I mean, I look at the rack of women's magazines and I go, what a fucking mind trip. Here's how you should look this year. You need to buy these. I mean, I'd never opened one,
Mhm.
but just to know that, I mean, I know as a guy like how insecure that I'm not ripped and look like whatever anymore. I mean, I know how that can make me insecure, but you know, guys magazines are surfing and guns and ammo and how to work on cars. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess there's a few about being beautiful, but it doesn't seem like there's almost nothing else for
Mhm.
women. It's all about what they should look like. So just to step back and go, wow, you know.
Yes.
Uh, Go ahead. Do you have
Well,
something?
just like, wow, and 65% of the population is open.
Right.
So there's a lot of people
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah. I don't know
improve
how it got.
themselves.
I don't know how it got down to 65. It was 70 when
Oh,
I
was it?
started.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it was a transit. No,
That's true, huh?
one of those,
Huh.
longer ones that was in
Mhm.
for a while. Um,
Mhm.
dude, here's the deal, man. It's never going to be good enough. Just get over it. That voice in your head telling you it's not good enough. And now I'm definitely going on the defense of the open ego. It's like, dude, just get over it. Get over it now. It doesn't matter. It's never going to be good enough. And then if you get to a place where you're really comfortable with that, good for you. I'm just saying that, especially the things that go out, like Luca was saying earlier, that, uh, he's all, it's, you're there, the other people are there, and it's recorded. I mean, dude, yes, I understand completely. This is the first year I've done this on camera. I mean, and it's taken me to about this moment to sort of feel comfortable about that. And I do somehow feel a little comfortable about it. And then, yeah, and what did we do? We called Teresa to find out what
The
was
healthy.
what was the positive part about having an open ego. Joan and I couldn't figure one out.
What's the wisdom?
What's the wisdom? And it really was, and it was a great answer.
Uh-huh.
That
Not defensive. Wasn't that what she
yeah,
said?
oh, you don't have to defend yourself. And no, and the other good keynote was that you can experiment enough that you can learn to trust your design. That you don't need willpower to make it in this world. That the material plane will take care of you if you trust your life. But you're not defensive. Yeah, and that was the
Mhm.
example I used because somebody came at me, another open ego, trying to put her trip on me about me being an open ego, and it was like I just was like, okay. I remember the day perfectly. It's like one of those etched in stone moments. I was like, okay, maybe it is. And what am I supposed to do? Color it in? I mean, I mean, at best, I'm like a 10-year-old child right now in human design. I mean, at best. I mean, yeah, I might have a few more years than that, but at best, I'm like a 10-year-old child as if I'm not going to make mistakes or step out of bounds every now and then to put that and then to add that trip on top of the trip that I mean, whatever judgment anybody has of me, trust me. Trust me, I'll outjudge you all day long about how I should be better. So, um, yeah, Wade's typing something. I hope it's to us. um,
Uh,
would you want to share?
Yeah, so Wade said you can relax about having to get everything done today. That's for you, Wade. It will get done when, if it gets done.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. If.
Yeah, if.
If. Because there is the.
Yeah, there is no more willing yourself around. And those of you with divine willpower, dude, you got to make sure you got to be so. I mean, it looks like a gift at first. Oh, divine ego, what a gift. Ooh, no, it can be a fucking curse because you can say something and then will yourself to do it. That was the discussion on Friday. You know, so yeah, it's probably the deepest conditioner on this plane. And again, just look at turn. I mean, I don't have commercials, but commercials or just everybody. It's just it's this defined or not, and then the this and that of the mind. Look what they have versus I should have what they have. I mean, it's the material plane itself. Now, yeah, we could become wise, and I love that. We don't need to defend. I love that Teresa said that. I was like, wow, that's exactly how I feel with it. I don't need to defend myself. Yeah, you
and
don't.
For me, it's kind of deeper. I don't need to I mean, I'm getting there. I haven't gotten there. Defend my right to exist. I mean, it's like kind of that level.
Yeah.
At times.
Your right to exist.
Wow. To use resources.
You're taking up too much oxygen, Joe. It's funny. We may have to put you on video for some of this because it's you do some funny stuff over there. All right, the splitting center.
That's me.
Yeah. That's me too. This is what I love about being splenic, guys. Is that I'm going to an awareness that's like 60,000 years old, at least 60. I'm going to the same awareness that's kept all life alive, essentially. And I remember, and again, this goes back to Luca's question about different types of trips and stuff. I remember one time, like in a dance club, like where I just got lost in this whatever trip. And it's like these bells were playing, and it was like, I mean, these like deep, hollow techno bells and stuff. And it was like, dude, there was just something resonating in my body. And all of a sudden, like, I just felt timeless and like connected to all of life. And now, look, I've had these experiences a lot more since, but that was like when I was 14 or 15. And then even before that, I remember at 6 or 7, maybe no, I couldn't have even. I must have been like 3 or 4, like watching the water go through this garden and actually understanding how the whole planet was formed. Like there's some awareness in my body that's just existential. The other day, a snake almost got me, dude, and I flew 3 or 4. I was listening to Eckhart Tolle, totally lost in my mind, hiking. A snake comes, I mean, hauling ass down the hill, right almost under my feet. I'm flying in the air before I even realize what has happened. That's splitting, guys. I mean, I think at some level, did we joke about that? I know it was in the forum. I did joke about that. I did, and because Luca knew who I was quoting. It was like, I did what any enlightened being would do. I shrieked like a girl and jumped in the air. Jed says I did what any enlightened being would do. I shrieked like a girl and ran. It was definitely a funny moment. And then if you're open spleen, dude, you're not carrying that survival mechanism. Not that same one. And so what are you taking in? All the fears and insecurities of the world. And they're doing what? They're amplifying in you, resources and all of it, I mean, and so then you hang on to anything that you think might make you feel a little better about your life. whether it's a relationship, clothes, whatever. So, and you have a very sensitive immune system, as we were sharing earlier. Um, why, the types of things that might be really healthy for me may be very unhealthy for you guys. So that, so what's the positive about the open spleen?
Well,
What is the
I
positive?
understand
Yeah,
that mine is defined as well.
yeah,
That there can be a sensitivity to. I mean, I think this is where we find healers.
yeah,
So they're sensitive to the wellness
yeah,
or not
yeah.
of others.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Hey, you're rocking it. You're
Whoa!
rocking on your post exam. No, I just could tell you got something, and I'm going to concur with her, Hanale. Most of the really good healers that I know, the good practitioners of healing arts, are open spleen people. They can step. I mean, it's that same sensitivity that you're getting a cold before you get a cold. I mean, trust me, guys. If and when I get sick, I will be dying. Devin see me, Joe and see me. It's like I will be dying. Okay. Open spleen people can feel, they can feel a little off, and they go drink whatever their matcha teas or their herbal shots of vitamin C or whatever the hell they do. I don't even know because I don't have enough energy to care. I'm fucking protected until I'm dead, basically. But most of the really good healers I know are open spleen people because they step into your frequency and they can actually see what's on. They can feel it, and that's it. I mean that's the positive. You know, it's a wisdom. It's a wisdom that has to do with health. And in your case, specifically, it's you're tied to the emerging awareness. I mean, in one way, I'm my awareness is the past. I mean, it's very animalistic. You're much more on the cusp of what may be called spirit consciousness, where what feels right is right for those of you that are emotional. So, and that it's okay to let go of things, and that you don't need other people to feel secure, and that you can start to see how many people are operating out of fear, their own fears and insecurities and so forth. And see, like these little questions, these are great. This is all just really good, guys. Just we had to give it a few weeks before I let everyone's kind of cruising now.
I don't. Maya's
uh,
just
no.
okay. Okay. So maybe it's just Maya's.
Yeah, sorry, Maya. Yeah,
Connection.
it's on your end. And hopefully you can hear us. Okay, so solar plexus. Oh, we were just talking about it. Don't you love that? I'm just who's the brilliant who brought the brilliant organization this year? That would be you.
Me, yeah.
All right. Um, dude, the gift and the curse, right? The gift and the curse. It's a 50-50 deal, guys. Those of you that are emotional can seem as unemotional as the day is long. Since birth, you've been trained not to, don't act up, don't get upset. Everybody pulling on you, like trying to do things to make you feel better or whatever. Um, so you guys end up suppressing the very thing that would be your greatest gift. Oh, you poor bastards. Anyway, on the other side, I will now make the open emotional argument. Holy fucking shit, if I could color something in, it would be my emotional center. I mean, that armor. Yeah, Maya, sorry you're having a little problem there, but hopefully you can hear me at least. Um, on the other, I mean, that armor, that emotional armor, the way things can roll off an emotional person. Look, I have an emotional mind. I am just coming to grips with that, and when we get into circuitry, you'll understand that my mind isn't part of the abstract rather than the logical process. Something that most of you probably at least are starting to get a handle on, but not until you learn horse stance. My dojo, you will stand in horse stance. Ask Wade. You will learn to stand in horse stance. Devin knows. You guys all, Joan knows. It's like, no, I don't care what you're reading outside of here, but right here, this is where we're at. Um, that, dude, it's everything everybody thinks they want, passion, you know, emotional experiences, and look, no one is here to make an emotional experience decision in the now. Okay, no one is here to make an emotional decision in the now. Whether you're open emotional or defined emotional, don't get high or low and go make a decision out of that shit. Emotional people are starting to really get it, man. I know, I can feel it. A few of them are here, and it's nice to have you guys because you bring stability to a very unstable human. That'd be me. I mean, they do, dude. I can feel it. It's like there's like, it's like it gives a nice foundation. Um, but it's what is all of life, just like the ego and needing to prove, let's have fun, let's have a good time, sex and passion, all these things. Sex is actually the sacral center, but people, the solar plexus mixed in there, obviously, as well. um, that you're either enjoying that emotional trip or you're avoiding it at all costs, and it ends up help having you lead a very distorted life. Now, here's the thing, guys. I'm doing okay. Yeah. Um, I'm open emotional. I'm still struggling with going to the grocery store. something, something just popped on my screen too. Um, uh, I mean, literally things as small as going to the grocery store. Is this just open? No, I just don't fucking feel like going. I don't feel like taking in the humans. So I go and I do my shopping either early or late. It's just what I do. I avoid humanity. I avoid a lot of the world. Is that my open emotions? Maybe. Maybe it does have something to do with it. Or do I just not like most of the humans I meet? There's another possibility, especially when they're in a hurry to have fun, as they are around here, and a lot of them, except for the local spots, was Kauai as well. But on the other side, like, what are you going to do? Like, push yourself to overcome that? So, you know, the big stuff, big battles, I got no problem getting involved with. Fuck, I'm getting involved in one right now. But um, on the little things, I just let it go. Joan's almost the opposite. She's much more catty on the little things. Somebody cuts in front of me at Whole Foods or whatever, and I don't even, I look at them and laugh. And usually they turn around and go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you." And then I get to be a smartass. I go, "Yes, I'm very aware of your myopia." So by not engaging them immediately, it gives me the chance to really sink a dagger into them later, unless they actually don't ever see me, and then they just go along with their life. Now, those are the little things, and I just, I avoid them until I get a chance to be a smartass, because what else would I enjoy doing but being a smartass? But on that defined side, dude, that's the thing. Is like, I watch people. I watch how people park in a parking lot, and I can pretty much tell you who's emotional and not. And I had someone get real upset with me about that. And I'm not. That's not true. And it was actually one of my emotional friends that we're gonna have on from Kauai, and she was at some bakery one morning doing the class because, or a coffee shop, because that was the only place she could get to internet. And she argued with me in class about that's not true. And then she went out to the parking lot, and her car was like parked like halfway in the spot, halfway out. And she took a picture and sent it to me, and we were just all laughing about it. It's like you can pretty much tell who's emotional just by how they move. They're not nearly as concerned about the humans around them. They're just not. Um, and I'm not saying you need to be. I'm just saying that there's a layer of protection there that you can't comprehend. And then later, when we get into the really healthy side of the emotions and understand that, like, I don't care if you're up or down. It makes no difference as long as it's real. You know? Okay. Did I get everything here? Or no? It's just an introduction.
Yeah.
I have time to do my open ego thing for the rest of the day. I have 8 hours of not being good enough as soon as we get off. All right.
Send teddy bears.
Yes, please send teddy bears. After every meeting, I need a teddy bear. Somebody come and give me a pat on the head. So this acro center. There's some theory after 50 I'll be less vulnerable, but I don't know about all that. No, the sacral center. 70% of the planet, they have energy. Here's your first teddy bear for the day. Thank you. But see, it's the people that need teddy bears that will give teddy bears.
Yeah, that's interesting.
None of the defined ego people gave me a teddy bear. Because they don't understand it. Not at this, and I know that defined ego people deal with self-worth. I do. They do deal with it.
Yeah.
They just have no idea how deep, how much further that all goes. The same as everything. And this is what you get to see through your openness, guys. This is where it does become wisdom. I mean, I can really have wisdom about, Devin, he struggles with all sorts of stuff. But in this area, he is more protected than the rest of us here,
The ego.
Yeah, the ego. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm off on the ego. Hard to get out of that ego. Still trying to get out of that ego. Doesn't matter if we change slides. All right, so the sacral center. This is the life force of the planet. 70% of the planet, generators. 70%, boom. Defined sacral. Want their own life force. Want here to know their own life. The other 30% of us, it's what manifestors, projectors, reflectors have in common. We are not generators. So potentially, and obviously mostly the projector, but potentially we can be very wise about life force. And we can really learn when enough is enough. And we can actually, have some maybe an easier time not pushing ourselves energetically because it's just enough. And hopefully by the end of this, you guys will all be in a place where it's just whatever your mind is telling you you should be doing, it's lying to you. And hopefully by the end, you'll also be able to chart that, that's, for me, it's like, that's my open ego and open emotions, my open throat, whatever. It's like, I see it. I mean, you see it. It doesn't mean it goes away. So this is the sexual energy. This is I got a question about this earlier this week. Yes, here is the sexual energy. It is about sex. It is about fertility. It is about energy on this plane to make and perpetuate life. But, for the rest of us, if we try to keep up with this world, and it was kind of my trip with the projectors that hopefully you guys got, is like, dude, maybe the manifestors and reflectors can play in that world a little easier than we can. And I'm not saying anybody, if you're here in human design, you're pretty much breaking free of the game anyway. But as projectors, if we don't step back and just go, look, I'm not playing this fucking game. I don't understand any other way for us to make it out. And I say that as a projector, so fuck me if I'm wrong. Jedi training. Where the very first thing is understand. The only thing you need to know is you don't know shit, and neither do I. Okay, you got it? Nobody knows shit, and neither do I. If you guys get that by the end of the year, we're flying. And then the root center, right? 40% of the population open. And remember, these are huge numbers. It's like, I have a constant and consistent pressure, to bring correction, to joyously challenge this life. I mean, I know what this is. I look at open root people and I giggle. It's like, wow, dude, look at them. I mean, and Devin, I hope you're not in too rough a place, man, because I'm gonna play with you a little bit. I mean, dude, I hear Devin's timer go off a second or two before he does. Like I feel it, and he knows because he's been here so many times, and I'm like, oh, must be. It's like the toaster. It's like the Pop Tart comes out of the toaster. It's like, oh, time to go, and I can feel it, and he knows it. And what's he gonna do? Color his root center in? And he is in situations that put him under pressure. And dude, what do? You laugh about it because it's not like you're not going to move fast, and it's not like pressure is not going to move you. It just can't move you too much. You know, it can't move you away from your truth. So, in the open route, it's not built. It's not built to work well under pressure. I mean, it's like, are you still in a hurry to get shit done? We missed all the not self questions. I guess that was just me.
That's
Yeah, that's
another
coming.
set of slides. Yeah.
That's the other set of slides.
Yeah.
Ah, the other set.
It was going to be too long if we included
Yeah.
that.
No, it's already too long. So, guys, you get it. All of you have these 9 centers, right? All of you have them either defined or undefined. You're using them in a healthy way, or you're using them in a healthy way, or more accurately, they're using you. I think that's really important to distinguish. They're using you, either in a healthy way or an unhealthy way. And people try to get me to go faster or do something. It's almost fine. That's like I'm not going anywhere.
Because you have your own pace.
Yeah, because I have a defined route. I have my own pace. Yeah. And is there anything else here? We're good. Okay. So I will do John's not self questions on this chart. No, the aloha slide, right? Mm-hmm. So we go from that distorted slide that we had at the beginning, and we end up with something that looks like this. Clean, sharp, clear, the head center. Who put these fucking questions in my head? The Ajna. Why am I arguing? I don't have a mental position. You have no mental position. The throat, shut the fuck up. That's to me. The open G, right? Am I still trying to be on everybody else's trip? The open ego, yeah, do I still feel like I'm not enough, not good enough, whatever. Open emotions, am I still avoiding the bullshit, Open route, am I still in a hurry to get things done? Am I still under pressure to move at other people's paces? The spleen, why am I hanging on to this asshole? Or bitch, either one, you can, whichever's correct. And then the sacral, like, dude, get over it. When is enough is enough? So I got my not self questions. All right. I think that's great, don't you?
Mm-hmm.